Welcome back to the Quiet Millionaire, where we don't chase wealth, we regulate into it. Ever notice how even rest feels like failure? Ever feel like slowing down is more terrifying than burning out? Ever wonder why urgency still runs your mornings, even when you know better? Ever sit with your hands still for 5 seconds and feel your chest tighten like you're doing something wrong? Ever open your mail late, heart pounding, already bracing for a blow that never comes? Today, we're not talking mindset. We're addressing what's underneath your money behavior. There's a cost, not in dollars, in chemistry. The quiet pulse of adrenaline behind your eyes is an ambition. It's your nervous system scanning for danger, even when the deposit cleared, even when the bills are paid. Scarcity when you should feel safe. You might think you're just wired for stress. But watch what happens the moment you see an unexpected expense or a slow month appears on the calendar. Your jaw clenches, your breath shortens, your muscles brace, even as you earn. Your body's message is the same. Don't settle. Don't trust. Don't rest. Stay watchful. Let that land. Here is what I want you to try. Notice the moments you make a money decision on edge. Maybe it's snapping at family after a sales call. Maybe it's skipping lunch, telling yourself there's no time. Maybe it's sitting up at midnight, replaying decisions, convincing yourself you're only one mistake away from losing it all. These aren't quirks. They're the nervous system's response to old scarcity. And the truth is, you'll never build gentle wealth from a body stuck in fight or flight. If this shows up in your week, pause there. Tonight, this isn't about more money. It's about earning from a system that feels safe enough to actually hold it. Receive that. There's nothing to prove. This isn't theory. This is your nervous system adapting. Here's the sabotage pattern. Most people build their financial life out of reflex, not regulation. You learn early to attach urgency to income, checking your phone in the bathroom, watching your inbox as you walk down the sidewalk, apologizing to your family for stepping away to close a sale. You turn stress into a badge and call it ambition. Why? Because nobody teaches you that the nervous system keeps score. It remembers every moment you override a signal to pause, and every time you trade sleep for more work. You call this dedication, but it's just survival in a nicer suit. Look at how these patterns show up in daily decisions. Maybe you buy something impulsively after a tense call, not because you need it, but because your system craves a flash of relief. Maybe you freeze on a good opportunity, letting days pass, because your body quietly equates more success with more threat, more clients, more pressure, less air to breathe. The bank balance says you're fine, but your gut tells a different story. This is where most people get stuck. They imagine the burnout is their fault. They shame themselves for not doing or earning more. But the root is a body that's haunted by its own history with money. You begin to treat every sale like a battle, not an accomplishment. You answer Slack at dinner to stay ahead, but can you remember the last time you finished a meal? Without distraction, there's a constant readiness, a bracing against disappointment, even when things are going well. If this shows up in your week, pause there. Notice how you plan, spend, or pull back, not because of conscious strategy, but because your body is still bracing for attack. That's the discipline. Let that land. Your old strategy was survival, not thriving. You don't fix this by hustling harder. You shift by seeing what's actually running the show. Every entrepreneur talks about leveling up income. Few ever mention how earning can actually feel unsettling in the body, even when the bank account says otherwise. It's not just about lack or fear. It's about how unsteady money can feel when your biology is still programmed for threat. Payments come in, but your jaw stays clenched. You check Stripe and feel a sharp jolt, not satisfaction. This is where most people anchor hustle. They think, if I could stack enough cash, the tension goes away, but it never does. Because your nervous system isn't experiencing safety. It's only tracking stimulus. Here's what I want you to try. Next time you receive a payment, even a small one, before you open the app, pause. Sit with the fact that money is about to land. Notice your breath. Does your chest tighten as if expecting a mistake, a refund, another ask? Or does your body signal, it's safe to keep this, You already know this, but really honor it. Try softening your jaw. Unclench your hands. Let the deposit register, not just mentally, but physically. That's the discipline. Each transfer is an opportunity to teach your body we are safe with more. This isn't a fix. It's a frame. Apply the same principle when you launch an offer. Most panic isn't about failure. It's the body bracing for unpredictable feedback. Before you check responses, exhale. Remind yourself the outcome doesn't threaten safety. It doesn't have to be dramatic to be. True, calm, grounded launches set the terms for sustainable creation. Even expense management transforms instead of lurching at every notification. Build the habit of slow presence. See the transfer out, feel the edges of the anxiety, and re-anchor with a soft breath. There's room for this. Over time, your nervous system learns. Receiving and letting go do not mean danger. They mean capacity. If this shows up in your week, pause there. Anchor this once. Repeat when it wobbles. That's how you build, not just wealth, but the internal frame that can hold it. Most people carry their achievements like armor. And the thing about armor is, it only feels necessary when you expect to be attacked. Recognition, status, the right credentials all become proof that you belong in the room. It looks impressive from the outside, but it's heavy on the inside. Every new accomplishment has to be louder than the last one, because underneath is the question, will this finally keep me safe? Here's the shift. Wealth is not armor. It's structure. Used right, it supports your actual preferences, not the persona you needed to survive. This changes how you show up everywhere, but especially when something's at stake like negotiation. If you step into a partnership meeting armored in achievement, you're reading the other side for threat. Every ask, every counteroffer feels personal, attests to your worth. You answer to prove capability. You say yes to quickly, or argue past clarity. You walk away feeling depleted, even if you win. Now try this instead. Show up with the quiet capacity that your wealth already supports you, that your baseline doesn't need to depend on another deal. You listen to understand, not to defend. You state your needs clearly, naming limits with calm precision. You pull back from deals that don't fit without apology. The energy in the room changes. Partners sense it. You're not seeking their approval, just alignment. This isn't theory. This is your nervous system adapting. If this shows up in your week, pause there. Notice how quickly anxiety rises when you feel unseen or challenged each time you anchor back. Wealth is my support, not my shield. You move closer to congruence. Your relationships, business, money, even self, start to shift from performance to presence. That's the discipline. Let's flip this. The third shift is simple, but most people fight it for years, replacing force with flow, not just in how you act, but how you build, spend, and think about money. Force is loud. Force says say yes to everything, just in case. Force means you say yes to the second client when your body needs to rest. Take another meeting because the calendar is empty. Buy the newest tool because you're afraid of missing out. You're afraid to miss an opportunity, so you fill every gap. It feels like safety, but it's not. Let's bring in something your bank understands, even if you don't feel it yet. Compounding interest. You already know how it works. Small deposits, held quietly, become bigger over time, not by thrashing, but by staying put. Compounding doesn't panic. It only expands when you stop pulling money out, stop tinkering, stop scrambling for the next hit. It's the opposite of force. It's flow. Here's what I want you to try. Look at your work week like an investment account, not a race. The discipline isn't in saying yes all day. The discipline is in holding and knowing which moments actually add value. That's the real shift. Wealth multiplies when you choose from grounded clarity, not from a frantic place. It looks like turning down a maybe project so you can finish the one that is already working. It looks like stopping work at 3 p.m. because, right now, you're building capacity, not trying to impress anyone. It looks like building a season of output, then actually letting there be a season of restoration, without guilt or the urge to fill it, Just because there's room doesn't mean you owe anyone that space. This isn't a fix. It's a frame. Flow is friction reduced, not action erased. When your body feels safe, you pass off what you used to clutch tight. You delegate. You invest without panic. You see space as evidence of growth, not danger. Clean systems, strong boundaries, rhythms that serve you instead of run you, the real. Abundance shows up here. Wealth stretches out. It gets quietly wide, like a stream feeding into a deeper river, not by speed, but by depth earned with time. You get to hold more by trying to force less. Let that land. Build capacity, not speed. This is where you anchor what lands tonight. We stared down 3 patterns. First, telling the body it can receive without threat. Second, setting money down as armor and letting it support, not protect. Third, swapping brute force for behavioral flow, accepting that more push won't multiply calm or profit. There's no mystical leap, just clarity. Set to rhythm, a jaw unclenched at your desk, the phone laid down before sleep, payments received without that second-guessing flinch. If you're listening for the big pivot, it won't come with tension. It comes through relentless self-permission. Most people want to skip this. They skim for tactics, worried they'll fall behind, thinking regulation is for after hours. But your nervous system writes every financial outcome before the numbers ever show up. That's not a warning. It's order. Let that land. Here is what I want you to try. When you notice the urge to brace, delay the reaction. Name it. Breathe. Choose again so ease gets rehearsed on purpose, not by accident. That's the discipline. Here are your anchors for tomorrow. I hold money with steady hands. I am a clear and honest steward of every dollar. I choose ease in both spending and saving. My decisions widen my capacity. They do not drain it. I slow down before I commit. I don't rush the math or the meaning. Rest is productive. I belong in spaces where money feels neutral and safe. My wealth expands as I regulate, not as I strain. Quiet wealth is built on capacity. Quiet wealth is built on capacity. Quiet wealth is built on capacity.